Welcome. Refined Rage is a show that will cause you to think. If you are empty-minded or not big on thinking, I suggest you leave now before the brainwaves nuke your pathetic gray matter. That is all.
Hello everyone, welcome to Refined Rage. I'm your host Diogen Z, and this is episode 2. And today's episode is going to be about television. Television got its start black and white, and it had a very few selective channels. There were no remotes. You had to get up off your ass and actually change the channels with the knobs and dials. And I gotta say, it's really taken off. Now you have gigantic TVs that take up your entire house wall, and you have to get special rooms for your TV. No longer do you ever have to get up to change the channel, because heavens no, that's too much effort. Now you have a remote for every single thing. A remote even for your sofa to adjust it. This way you don't even have to crank the lever. Interesting. What I find more interesting is that people watch, well, this is pretty obvious, people watch TV way more than they read books. Honestly, I think that the art of reading has truly died out, and it saddens me, and we've lost it to television. At least that is one of the main causes. Now, TV. What is on TV these days? Like, what really can be viewed on the tubes? Anything good? Anything? Well, there are educational shows, but that's very rare to find. Even the best of channels, such as the Science Channel and Discovery Channel, usually populate their channel with a bunch of how-to and how it's made videos and shove it with a bunch of commercials. No longer do they have the Cosmos and all the old shows that I used to watch that were actually interesting and pertain to my level of thought. No, they kicked those out. And now it's just the same repeats of the same shows. So, why is TV a problem? Well, let's see. TV keeps people indoors and glued to the screen, watching. Instead of doing what people want, for instance, say, climbing a mountain, they'll watch somebody and vicariously have that experience of climbing a mountain. Why bother doing it yourself when you could just watch somebody else do it? Seems like perfectly good logic, right? Wrong. Little do people realize that, well, maybe they do realize, but they really don't seem to care, is that they're constantly being marketed to on TV. In fact, that is the largest outlet for advertisers. They bombard your face with commercials of pointless ads. Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to go to sleep? Do you want to have a burger? Do you want to blah 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 blah? Pointless. Now, it's kind of good that subliminal messaging was outlawed, because hell, I couldn't imagine a world in that subliminal messaging was actually around. Because let's be honest, I think television does a damn good job without subliminal messaging. But, okay, so there's commercials. But honestly, how many commercials are there? Well, it's a good question. And would you like to guess the answer? I'll tell you the answer. The average person is exposed to 1,600 commercials. That's a lot of commercials. And, do you enjoy wasting your time with pointless commercials? I mean, do you just sit there idly and say, yeah. I bet you do. I bet you do say that. But hey, who am I to judge? That's your way of lifestyle, not mine. So now let's take a look at today's youth. Now, we all know that youth are, they're very impressionable youngins. I mean, hey, when you're young, what you see and what you're exposed to early, well, that really depends, upon your background. I mean, that will change who you are when you grow up. that is basically your molding. You're like clay, and it delicately or brutally pounds you into whatever form you will take. Now, for many adults of today, I notice they don't seem to care a lot about their children. And I don't mean to put this off to any parents. I'm sure you love your kids, but I notice a lot of people pawning off their kids with television. And, television has a very wide array of channels, and it's not like back in the old days when sex appeal was a very naughty sort of content to put on television. It was basically never seen. You'll see that. You'll see about 1,000 sex ads, just right at you. Want to get hard, or you're not lasting long enough, or, oh, look, it's Girls Gone Wild, ooh, titties. Yeah, So your youngins are, flicking through the channels. There's nobody guiding them. There's nobody telling them what is dictating wrong from right. You're sending them out into the world with this very finite amount of knowledge. Instead of giving them books to read, you gave them a remote and a TV to watch. It's no longer having books in a nursery. There's a television in the nursery. And I think if you go into any average American's house, you're going to find a television. I've yet to find anybody who does not have a TV, who does not watch or enjoy TV. So think about that. All the Americans all have TVs. And, they may have more than one, which is ridiculous. And you gotta think, could this be a part of a plan? If every American has one of these and say a certain message was supposed to be sent through them, don't you think it would hit pretty much everybody? Let's just hope the message is good. But conspiracies aside, let's move to adult programming, mainly the news. Now, the news is ridiculous, and it pains me every day because I know a lot of people watch the news and take it as the gospel. They believe that is what is happening, and that is what is going down in the world, and there's nothing different. What the news tells me is what is, and I will believe it, and I will not question it. And I hate that many people believe this, and they have that mind frame, because you're basically brainwashing yourself. So here's the average adult's news watching capacity. Now, I'm going with the very base level of knowledge here as far as for them to have. I'm not trying to segregate anybody or anything like that, but this is my idea of the average subliminal news watcher. I don't know if you're one of these people. You may be like me, watch the news, doubt the news, and check the news and challenge it, which is I encourage. But here's the scenario that plays out. These TV zombies, I like to call them, watch the news, and depending upon what the subject is of the day, the news will always find something to fill their hearts with sadness, maybe. Oh, there's a cat stuck in a tree, or oh, look, somebody died today. So there was a shooting and war. And the horrible thing is that the news is not, it's really most of the time not honest, I gotta say. I was gonna be more generous than that, but no, most of the time it's wrong. And it's just giving you something to entertain you. That's all it is. News these days for television should not be taken seriously. It is just for ratings. Believe me, if they thought that jumping off of buildings and somehow they would live, sending their newscasters off buildings would get them higher ratings, they'd probably do it. Because in the TV world, it's all about ratings. They don't care if you don't get the message. They don't care if you don't get the story. They really don't care what story they're putting out there. In fact, I like to imagine it as they have a slot machine, and the first slot is topic. So they pull a crank and topic comes up, war, and then they pull it again. The second one is say occurrences, and say battle. And then the third one is like something outrageous, just random. Cheese. War, battle, cheese. Alright, go do a story on that. Make it interesting. Get us some good ratings. That's how they do it pretty much. And if you're in the newscasting business, I don't know how you look at yourself in the morning and, continue on. But hey, again, that's your lifestyle. I'm just here to judge. Okay, well, I can see that today's episode is running the extra time because I feel very strongly about this. And I gotta tell you something, last week I was a little bit sick, so I was not up to raging par, but this week I'm fully raging. So I feel very strongly about this issue. So I'm gonna make this a special, episode. Episode 2 can be 2 parts. So go watch the second part. Go.